And welcome back to Little Cuts, our weekly mini-sode where we dig into the things that we've been watching recently. I'm Terry.
And I am Mary Beth, and we are doing awesome. We are doing great.
Living our best
Sundance is
lives.
over, but we're still talking about Sundance today, second half of our Sundance conversation, and we are talking about the last two seasons of Chucky, season 1.
Episodes.
Yeah, that's
Episodes.
what I meant. That's what I meant. Last two
Like 2
episodes.
seasons. Oh my god. How many seasons are there?
Last 2 episodes. of
There we
Chucky
go.
season 1.
I love it. Love it. So this is a new month. If you're listening to this on Friday, there's a new seltzer out there. And the next week, we are unveiling our next Fresh Wounds, which is Mary Beth. Where's my...
Oh, Lake Mungo. I was like...
Doing great over here,
It's like
guys.
the orphanage. Nope.
Nope.
No,
Doing
we
great
are
over
talking
here.
about Lake Mungo, and as many of you who are listening to this podcast know, that is one of my all-time favorites. And Terry didn't like it his first watch, which we've given him shit about before, and revisited it for Fresh Wounds, and we have a really awesome discussion about one of my all-time favorite horror movies. And it's a really good talk. I just, no spoilers, but foreshadowing. It's a really good conversation, and I don't yell at Terry about not liking it, so.
It's okay. It's an okay movie. I mean, I suppose.
Look, I accept all opinions except for that one. Just kidding.
No, no spoilers. Yep.
Yeah, no spoilers.
We'll save that
No
for next
spoilers.
week.
Yeah.
But
But yeah,
it is a good
new
combo.
month, new Patreon stuff. Get into it. If you aren't a patron, why not? No, I understand. But we'd love your support and listening to
We would love
our
it.
extra content.
Mhm.
Sign up. It's awesome. For just $1 a
It
month.
helps keep
you
the
can
lies on. Lies on? Lights
the
on.
li-
Jesus. You know the lie that I'm gay?
I was going to
Hey.
make a joke about your hair being full of secrets, but you don't have any hair, so...
No, I don't. Very bald.
Strap on, you guys. Keep the lies on.
Oh my god, Kate. I think we need that on a shirt. I'm going to copy that. Strap on, you guys, and keep the lies on. That is a deep cut that no one will get except for, like, a few people, but it's hilarious.
Well, only the true fans know. Anyway, cross-stitch pillow pattern coming soon. Yeah.
Ooh.
Would 10
Yes,
out of 10.
please.
Would purchase. But let's talk about Sundance. I know that
Yes.
I watched a few more. I ended up fizzling out more than I expected to, which I am giving myself grace for. It's like so easy to get sucked into this idea that you have to watch as many movies as possible to like prove yourself, but I'm honestly kind of burnt out from watching movies because I love my job, but I have to watch so many fucking movies. Like my head is just exhausted, and all I want to do is watch TikToks. I just want to consume short form comedy content and turn off my noggin and not think critically about film. But that aside, I watched 18 movies total, and I really enjoyed most of them. So I'm excited to talk about some of the things that we watched that weren't midnighters, but deserve some love and attention. And some of these aren't even horror movies. I'm assuming you're probably not going to just talk about horror, because I have a couple I watched that are not scary. That
I don't think any of the ones I want to talk about are horror this time.
Cool. Well, tell me some.
Okay. So right off the bat, one of the movies that I did see before Sundance that I wanted to talk about is this Lithuanian/Swedish film called Slow. And it is about a dancer who is very like, and yes, Kate, we're definitely going to talk about Cassandra tonight. Absolutely. So it's about a dancer named Elena who is very in touch with her body and is very like huggy-feely and very like sexual. and she meets a sign language interpreter for one of her dance classes named Davidas. I probably am mispronouncing that name. And there's like a lot of chemistry between them. They start hanging out. They start to dive into a new relationship, and then she gets forward and he kind of pushes her back and tells her that he's asexual.
Oh.
And so it is one of the very few, and for me, probably the only movie I've ever seen that has like, it's a romantic drama, I would say, with a character that is very much thrives on sex and a character that is asexual but tries to make it work. And I really enjoyed this movie. It's a little bit sadder than I was kind of hoping.
Yeah.
In terms of how it kind of like maybe turns out, not to spoil it, but this is not I don't know. I thought it was very well done, and I thought it kind of maturely explored messy relationships, particularly with people that might not be on the same wavelength but have like so much love and respect between the two of them. And so this was, I really enjoyed this one. I was not expecting it to kind of not be like a romantic comedy ending, shall we say.
Jesus Christ. Just every movie I feel like was so goddamn depressing this Sunday. Like, especially so. We talked about this last time. But I've heard of that. I heard about that one. I didn't catch it.
It's really good.
I didn't catch it, though, but... I love ace representation. I love that we're getting more... I know that Something in the Dirt had ace representation, and so I like that that's kind of starting to maybe make its way into film as like a thing that we can just have on celluloid. I don't know, but yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that's my first one. What about you, Mary Beth?
Well, since you're talking about relationships and like complicated relationships, I wanted to bring up Passages by Ira Sachs. Did you see Passages?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Passages, this was one that I watched as like I didn't just on my radar because someone wrote a Twitter review it was basically like chaos bisexual, and I was like, well, like I love that. Like, I like to call myself a chaos bisexual, but no, like, this is a literal, like, this is actually, like, I joke about it, and, like, my chaos is, like, smoking a lot of weed. Like, this character's chaos is, like, ruining people's lives. So
dysfunctional chaos.
I, like, don't think I can call myself a chaos bisexual anymore after seeing this, because, like, I am not even remotely
not compared
like
to
that.
Tomas, that's for sure.
So, okay. So in this movie... Tomas, played by an absolutely incredible Franz Rogowski.
Oh, he's so good.
He's incredible. He's been in things like Undine, Transit. He is a German actor, so he's been in a lot of German stuff. But he plays Tomas, who is a German filmmaker. He lives in Paris with his husband, Martin, who is played by the fucking adorable Ben Whishaw. Cutie patootie.
Oh, he was in Lucifer.
Fresh and fruity. Who?
Franz.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Did you see that movie? Lucifer with a Z?
No, I didn't. Like,
it was at some festival.
Oh.
Anyway, sorry. I just realized this. I just put two and two together.
But yeah, so then he lives with his husband, Martin, cutie tootie, fresh and fruity, Ben Whishaw, who is the voice of Paddington. Incredible.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is the voice of Paddington Bear.
Never seen Paddington.
If you want to feel good about yourself and just watch wholesome bullshit, Paddington is the way to go. It's Paddington 2 especially. Anyway, so they are married. From the get-go, you can tell it's pretty toxic. And because it kind of like jumps right into the fact that Tomas has a affair with Agatha, I think is how it's like Agatha with an E, and it's French. It's probably Agathe. I couldn't really understand what they were saying in the movie because I am a
sound like you're saying
American.
Agat.
Agat? Okay, Agat.
But
played by the incredible Adele Exarchopoulos. I'm so sorry. I am the worst. But she was in Blue is the Warmest Color is kind of what she's known for. She's opposite of Leah Seydoux in that film. But basically, it's like a triangle of chaos because Tomas gets with her and is like, oh, you should be happy with me, I'm with a woman, and his husband is like, why? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is weird. It'll be fine, and then it's not fine. And then Tomas gets jealous of his husband moving on, so then he wants to come back to his husband. And it's just like Tomas trying. It's like the epitome of having your cake and eating it too, and like trying to be that way, and being so into your own ego, but also incredibly insecure that you just like cannot handle people not wanting to be with you. And it is, again, pretty sad. You're basically watching people's lives kind of crumble around a pillar that doesn't actually exist, which is a lot. But the characters and the performances are so good. And I think there was like minor Twitter discourse about the sex scenes in it. And I was like, people are so prudish. Like, the sex scenes were incredible. And I think a lot of people are saying this, but like, there's incredible gay sex scenes where Ben Whishaw tops Franz Rogowski, and it's just like a beautiful sex scene that is gay sex, but like not sensationalized. It's just two dudes. Like,
no, it is actual. Like, it is.
It's like,
it is the most honest depiction of sex, but gay sex that I have seen outside of porn.
like, but sad that the bar, like there's no bar, but it is it's a really well directed scene. It's very realistic. It's not like, yeah, it's incredible. And then there's sex scenes, like, you know, the typical like woman man sex, but like all of the sex is just really well choreographed and it feels genuine. It's not like trying to make this crazy statement about, look at him fucking all these people, he's a bisexual fucking men and women. It's like actual sex. And it's not, yeah, and I just really appreciated the honesty of this movie.
Yeah, this movie is phenomenal. I loved from the very beginning. There's because Franz's character Tomas is a film director, and the opening shot is he's filming a scene for his movie Passages. And the way he like is trying to control every single facet of every single extra in this scene, where he's like, one person's not walking down the stairs correctly, one person is not holding the glass correctly. Like, from the get-go, you can see that he has like control issues, and that he wants everything to play out as if he is manipulating it. And so the moment that Martin, his husband, is like, yeah, no, I don't think this is what I want, it is like almost a coming of age story for him. It like just breaks his mind, and he goes on this like wild journey of figuring out what he wants, but it's complicated by different sexes and different ideas of love and pregnancy and like all of these things, that it just sort of starts to tumble downhill. And it's like, I don't know, I found it very enthralling the entire time I was watching it.
Yeah. It also made me so mad because a lot of the behavior that Thomas exhibits is behavior I have experienced as someone who was in a very toxic relationship. And so it was like, I was so angry, I wanted to turn it off, but like and it's a positive thing because it's like very much accurate to the experience of like being in that kind of toxic dynamic and how hard it is to extricate yourself from that dynamic. So it's incredibly well done in that regard. So it pissed me off so much, but like, again, in a positive way, like in a way that like, wow, fuck, they really nailed it. I never want to watch this again because he's the most manipulative, gross, gaslighty person.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
He's terrible.
He is. He's a horrible person, but
yeah,
I felt that the movie had a little bit of empathy toward him, like not in like a forgiving him sort of way, but there's like, I think why this movie stuck with me more than it might have is because of the fact that it felt authentic in its depiction of him, both as like a horrible person, but also as someone that like has that magnetic personality, and that he obviously loves both people very much. It's just there's a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than just he's a bad guy, and I think that's why I appreciated this movie, even though he is incredibly frustrating, and I sighed so many heavy sighs during this movie because he's a lot.
He's a lot.
And I was like, how can you leave cutie patootie Ben Whishaw? Like, come on.
Beautiful, like, Parisian apartment, a fucking country home. I mean, it's the gay ideal. Are you kidding me?
I know. Seriously.
He's a little artist in his cute little artist butt pant, like his little butt and his little cute pants. Oh, whatever. Anyway. Yes, but I really like that one. I think there was a lot of really good queer stuff this year, I feel like.
There was. And speaking of queer stuff, I want to talk about Cassandra since
I'm so mad I didn't watch it.
Oh, Mary Beth. It's so
I know.
good.
I burned out. I burned out.
No, I get it. Like, you said you watched, what, 18?
Yeah.
I watched 21. One was a short film, but I watched 21, and that was only because the last night I was like, I gotta watch these two. And then Joe was like, hey, you gotta watch this romantic comedy if you still can.
Oh, I know. I missed that one, too. I'm so pissed I missed that one.
That was really cute, too. But anyway, Cassandra, telling the true story of Cassandra, who is an Exotico lucha libre character created by Saul Armendariz, I believe. And he is a gay amateur wrestler from El Paso who rose to international stardom. It's set during like his rise of being like this non-exotico. So exotico are like a subclass of like lucha libre where they are the more fey, the more femme, the more queer type character.
Okay.
And they're usually played for jokes. They're usually the rule was that exoticos never win. They are there to be the sort of like audience yelling at point. And so he's going on stage, or he's witnessing people before he like transitions to being exotico from being sort of like a no note wrestler to being jeered at and having the F word thrown at him, and like people, the entire crowd just rallying against him, and him like winning and getting better and embracing his queerness and embracing the things that the audience hates, and then the audience starts to come around. And so it's basically about his sort of rise. And it's a fictionalized account. I was looking at the Wikipedia entry on him and seeing like how things lined up. So it's a little bit fictitious in the way it presents, as biopics typically are.
Yeah.
But the main character, Saul / Cassandra, is played by Gail Garcia Bernal, who I absolutely love. And this was a role made for him. He just is electric in it. He embraces this character so much. It was a joy to watch him on screen. You get to see him interact with like a closeted lucha libre fighter who they have like a relationship for that is he's married, and so there's like a little bit of that going on there. Bad Bunny is in it.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Who
Bad
I just
Bunny?
realized is so fucking hot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bad Bunny is a cutie, to put it very lightly. He is a cutie.
He is.
By cutie, I mean hottie. He's a hottie.
Ugh.
Oh, I'm so glad Bad Bunny was in that.
Yeah.
Who
is
that?
Bad
Bunny queer? Do we know?
I don't know, but I do think his persona on stage is more like poly type feeling, but I'm not. I know he's supportive. Yeah.
Okay.
He's
no,
supportive
he's
of the queer community.
Okay. Yeah, he's not. He is not queer.
Okay.
But again, I think it's got like the Harry Styles vibes, but like a little less exploitative of like, whatever. A slippery slope talking about queer writing with Harry Styles. But I know that there's been a discussion about Bad Bunny, but it's more like he's like trying to be like, you don't have to be like super macho, and you can lean into these kinds of like ways of existing without it being like, yeah. So yeah, I think
And hey, that's what this film's about.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense that he's in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's been picked up. I don't know any of that.
It has. I don't know if I can say.
It's an Amazon Studio film. I see.
Yeah, it got picked up.
It's an Amazon Studio film. It looks like.
So
So
it'll come out. I think it's coming out later this year. So it'll be out for the world to see on Prime. So yeah.
so yeah.
Hooray.
So that was Cassandra. What do you have next, Mary Beth?
So I have two more that
Okay.
I want to really talk about. And the first one is Fair Play.
Okay, one I did not get to see.
This movie fucking ran me over. It's really good, and it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's really good. So it's directed by Chloe Domont. I believe this is her first feature, and it's about a couple who both work together at a hedge fund in New York City, but no one knows they're together. And they've been together for a couple of years. They live together, and they get engaged, but they have to pretend they don't know each other at work because toxic, whatever. So she is one of the only women, and she is she basically is promoted to the job that her fiance thought he was going to get, and she thought he was going to get. So she actually gets promoted. And as soon as she gets that promotion, her fiance completely switches. When he no longer has like the perceived upper hand in the power dynamic of their relationship, he immediately starts treating her like shit. Like gaslighting her, and she's like trying really hard to be nice. Like she knows this is hard for him, but basically it then like leads to this, it's just like the absolute downfall of their relationship, and it kind of how it spirals out of control and the power dynamics being challenged, and male ego being kind of unwilling to check the ego at the door and not give respect to a person who deserved a job regardless of gender. So this is the first time I've seen Alden Ehrenreich, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Alden Ehrenreich, who is Han Solo in Solo. First time I've actually like seen full proof that he knows how to act. I think he plays a lot of like goofy characters, but this character is, I think it works really well that like you assume he's going to be goofy and he's actually the fucking like worst.
Playing against type.
Yeah. So, and then Phoebe Denver plays the lead, and she hasn't been in a lot before. She's pretty new, but she's electric. She's so good. And this like whole movie is about toxicity and, you know, toxic male relationships in the workplace, especially in like these high powered workplaces that are very male dominated, that are all about like partying all night and doing coke and like getting wasted and then like making tons of money. And it's kind of got that like, you know, there's some like kind of stereotypical vibes here of like woman in the man's world and what she has to sacrifice, but I think it's like really well done in terms of examining that relationship. So it's not an easy watch. There is a sexual assault scene. It's really well done. It's just like it's not a horror movie, but the tension feels like a horror movie. So yeah,
you had mentioned that, and then I went to go see if I could snag a ticket, and it was all sold out. So I unfortunately missed that one. But it's after you talked about it, and I can't remember, someone else talked about it too. I was like, okay, it's on my list of things I need to watch eventually.
Yeah.
When it comes out.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten picked up yet. It's almost 2 hours long, which is a lot. Like it's kind of like a marathon of a movie, but check it out if you're kind of into that. If you ever see anyone call this an erotic thriller, it's not. This is by far the furthest thing from an erotic thriller, in my opinion.
Okay.
Just because it is a very high intensity movie about a woman in a man's workplace does not mean it is an erotic thriller. There is nothing erotic about this movie. Not even a little bit. I'm just letting everyone know that now. Because Jesus Christ. But anyway, passing it back to you, anything that you want to highlight?
Yes.
Okay.
Pivoting very hard from that is a movie that, for some reason, I think is my favorite of the fest. Which seems weird because it does feel like a little bit of a slight film in some regards, but Theater Camp?
Oh my god, I love Theater Camp. I'm so glad you told me to watch it. It's so good.
It's so good. So it's co-directed by Molly Gordon, and Nick Lieberman. You might remember Molly Gordon from her role in Shiva Baby, her role in Booksmart. She is co-directing this, and she co-wrote it along with her co-director and Noah Galvin, who is in this movie as well as an actor. And Noah Galvin is also he was also in Booksmart. He was in Assassination Nation. I think he kind of grew kind of popular from the Real O'Neills. He was Kenny O'Neill in that. But so Theater Camp is about, it's sort of like a Christopher Guest movie, I would say, in that it is sort of like a mockumentary about this documentary crew that is going to go to this theater camp run by Amy Sedaris's Joan. And the first time they start filming, they're at Bye Bye Birdie, and the strobe lights cause her to fall into a coma. And so they're going into the summer season with their fearless leader in a coma, and her son, played by Jimmy Tatro, who is also in another very funny mockumentary called American Vandal. And he is like there trying to run the business and deal with theater people, for lack of a better word. We have Molly Gordon and Ben Platt playing the sort of like queer best friends who are also might be slightly in love with each other and codependent on each other. You have Noah Galvin, who is playing Glenn, who is like working behind the scenes doing the stagecraft, but is actually quite talented, but no one sees it. You have like all of these characters. Ayo, I'm going to mispronounce her name. Ayo Adibiri.
Adibiri, yeah. Ayo Adibiri. Oh, bitch. She's so fucking funny.
So funny in this. And she was great in The Bear. That's where I first saw her. She was so good in The Bear. And she's really funny in this. And it's basically just cataloging this summer of drama camp where they're trying to keep it together while their rival camp across the lake wants to buy them out and tear down their camp. And so it's very funny. I have thought for the longest time that my ability to laugh at things has been diminished when it comes to movies, but I laughed so fucking hard watching this movie. This movie is a breath of fresh air. It's very funny. I told Mary Beth, I was like, you need to watch this, and I'm so glad you did because you enjoyed it, right?
I loved it. I was watching it in bed, and I kept making my really off, like, not even just a laugh, but like my sound while I was watching it, because, like, so I'm a former theater kid, as I know that Terry is also a former theater kid, and so some of the shit that happens in this movie is just so relatable as people who are in theater, people who are around people who were even more into theater. Because, like, I was a theater kid, but, like, I was not a theater kid. And I'm not trying to differentiate myself. It's more like the people that I worked, like, the people that took themselves, like, so seriously. I was like, oh, fuck, like, I am not even remotely on your level. And, like, I love that. I just couldn't get there. It wasn't me. It wasn't for me. And that's fine. But that's why I just love this movie. And again, like, all of the kids at the theater camp are like, we're going to be a fucking star. And I love that. Like, there is no, like, oh, the kids who are really into it and kids who are not. Like, these kids are fucking into it. And it's just, like, the things that happen in this movie are, like, so, like, it's dark and also really, and funny. It feels even, because it's not, like, dark subject matter, but it feels a little bit darker than, like, a Christopher Guest movie. Even in, like, the way it's filmed. It just feels a little bit more melancholy in a really interesting way. Like, I read somewhere that someone described it as bittersweet. And I think that's a really good way to describe it. Because it's, like, it's funny, but it's also about people who are in theater who are, like, are trying to figure out what to do with their lives, and they don't want to let go of their passion. And, like, that's a real thing that a lot of us face, and, like, wanting to, like, live our passions, but then kind of realizing, like, maybe it's not a thing that is plausible. And Ben Platt and Molly Gordon, Ben Platt absolving all of the sins of Dear Evan Hansen with
I know, when I was going into this movie, I was watching it with my roommate, and I was like, oh, this is going to give me Evan Hansen vibes, but No, he's really good in this.
He's really good. Like, he's in his element. He's like wearing Birkenstocks the whole time, like little, like very like stereotypical like theater scarves, and it's just, it could have gone so hokey, and but it's just hokey enough that it's funny, and I think they could have used the mockumentary technique a little bit better, but I also am a freak about pseudo documentary and mockumentary, so like I know that's like nitpicky, but I also Noah Galvin's character is the best character in this entire movie.
Oh, he's so good.
The unsung heroes of the techies who are always like getting. I love Tech Week when like he's the only person running around to everything like with his binders. I was like, oh, like applause for the techies. Like we love techies so much. And like his character arc is just so good. Like it makes the whole movie to me. Like it's good without like it's Noah Galvin's character.
The climax with him is just so perfect.
Yeah, it was the palate cleanser I needed for a lot of other things that I had watched. I think I'd watched Magazine Dreams like the same day, and that is like one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen. And I was like, I need someone to give me a mind wipe.
I think that's why I really responded to this one so much, is that this was a very heavy year at Sundance, I would say, for a lot of
I would agree with
movies. And this movie just comes along and is like, hey, it's okay to laugh. And after, I think this was almost going to be my last movie of the fest, but after like watching so many dark movies, so many depressing movies, so many really good movies, like I'm not discounting them, but watching all of those and then sitting down to watch this and just being blown away by the creativity and the humor and the heart, just like it made my day. And as silly as it might sound, this was probably my favorite movie of the fest.
I mean, I get that though, especially when it's like a little buoy of joy in like a sea of depression. It's easy for it also to stick out in terms of like, oh, this was doing something different, and I really liked that. I think this is one of the last movies I watched, and I was like, well, this is a good kind of footnote, like a good note to end on for me. Yeah.
And it's I know it's being distributed by Searchlight Pictures, so we'll probably get an actual theatrical release of this movie. So I'm excited for that.
I am too. Those were the ones I really wanted to talk about. Yeah. So let's just like pivot wildly into talking about Chucky, the last 2 episodes of Chucky.
Oh boy. So I gotta hear your thoughts, Mary Beth, because we started the season, and now we're ending it on such a dark note.
Like, what? I'm trying to like put all my thoughts together. I mean, they really did kill a lot of parents.
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them. These poor children are just fucked. Oh yeah, they killed Junior, right?
Yeah, Junior.
So he's dead.
Junior's dead.
Kyle's dead?
Junior's dad's dead.
Kyle
might be dead.
Kyle might be dead. We didn't get confirmation on her. There's an army of Chucky dolls now, which once again, what the fuck is going on? Like, what voodoo power is happening? I still don't like fully get it, but that's fine. I mean, I get it. I get what he wants. He wants to take over the world, like have kids, like possess children, etc., etc. But still, like, what the fuck? But again, I'm thinking too hard into this. But I love all these horror references that are going on in these last 2 episodes, especially the last episode. And there's some really interesting stuff they're doing with music in this as well that I was really excited about. I love that Charlie. What? Who? Chucky? What the fuck? Charlie. My man Charlie. Just is a puppeteer of children, which is, like, the more I think about it, the creepier it really fucking is. Like, I hadn't really thought about it. You mentioned it. And then, like, just seeing him, especially, like, as the seasons progress, and he's, like, fucking poking and prodding a bunch of kids to commit murders. It's like, ew, this is kind of squicky. Like, this, like, why are you only targeting children to do all of your bidding? Like, yeah, I get it, like, easily manipulated and stuff, but, like, these kids are got your shit, and yet you're, I don't know. It's weird. I did also like how they kind of tied it all together with how Tiffany called the cops on Chucky, and it all kind of like tied them all the stuff together. I was like, oh, okay, I like the cohesion that is created there.
Yeah, it's like filling in little plot holes, but also like moving a story forward.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck was I gonna say? I totally forgot. So I watched them back to back, so like I cannot remember what was in 7 and 8. So if I say something is in one episode, I swear I watched it. I just like cannot, like I smushed it together like a movie. So it's like I cannot remember for the life of me. I will say I did know that Devin lived, but only because I saw the first episode of season 2.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was like a very like speed bump. When I first watched this, I was like, no, Don Mancini is not burying his gays. He is not going to do that. And there was like a brief, like the next scene, they're reunited, everything is hunky dory, and I was like, okay, good.
I know. Beautiful kiss, calls him a boyfriend. Like I just love the gays. I just love all the gay. And the Bound reference of Jennifer Tilly saying, "You're a bit young to seem bound." I was like, like all of the little things just bring my heart. Like she is so good in this. Like she just fucking kills it as Tiffany / I don't whoever. I don't understand like who is who here. It's like kind of like a hive mind. I'm gonna think of it as like a hive mind at this point, but not really because they're not all connected. I don't think so. I don't quite understand like the identities of like who, and they kind of try to get to that at one point of like who is the real Chucky, but then she's like, neither of you are men. I'm like, well, that didn't help me at all. Like I thought you were gonna give me something in terms of like who the real Chucky is and if he's dead. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter, but I'm just nitpicking, but I just want to know like who is the real Chucky, who is the real Tiffany? Because like spoilers at the fucking very end, Tiffany like has a gun and is pointing it at Andy, but Tiffany the doll, that is Jennifer Tilly
is cutting off the arms and legs of Nika.
Like
that's fucking bleak. Nika gets the shit kicked out.
I know.
Of her. Like,
poor Nika can't catch a fucking break. Like she is just
called insane and sent to a sane asylum by the end of the first movie that she's in. Being turned into Chucky in the second movie she's in. Now having her arms and legs lopped off and she's stuck in a wheelchair. Like,
sorry about it, I guess. Like,
it just...
Well, and I also want to talk about like this like climactic moment where Chucky starts killing all the adults in the movie theater, where he sits under the seats during the screening of the original Frankenstein, and he says his favorite part is when Frankenstein throws the little girl in the water, which is he looks at this huge guffaw of, like, this is my favorite part, and he then slides under the seats and just starts stabbing people through the seats. And like we've seen him do this kind of like, he stabbed at the bed towards the beginning, and he's tried to do this a couple times, but now it's like really working, and he is on a spree. Like he is just stabbing whoever he can get to. Like kind of there's like indiscriminate just stabbing of people, including our bully's dad.
Yeah.
Incredible reveal about him being dead with the mom eating the popcorn and it's blood on the popcorn.
Pouring out of his mouth like butter.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. And again, this is all happening while Frankenstein is playing in the background. And also, the score riffs on the Shining score.
It does.
Which was so cool. So there's like so many really cool horror references going on here.
Chucky gets a Ghoulies moment when he pops out of the toilet.
Oh, that's right! Oh my god, that was incredible. So it's like, I think they, like, there's a lot of horror references in the series, but I really think they, like like went into them, because I feel like these last two episodes really tie again like the new and the old together really well. Like this is when everything kind of makes sense, and like everyone, we know that it's been coming together, but now it's like all of the characters that we know and love and the new ones all come together in this like crazy 2-episode finale.
Kyle is wearing her outfit from Child's Play 2.
Why not?
I just love this idea that she's like, you know what? I was really rocking that style back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I'm going to bring back this black leather motorcycle / somewhat like S&M-y look as an adult. And I'm just like,
I see no problem with it.
brava.
She looks great.
She does.
I'm
wondering if she's dead. I don't really know.
I feel like I say this about a lot of stuff, but I feel like they show you when people are dead so often in this show that like I can't imagine that they would kill her off like that.
Yeah. My only like real complaint is the ADR is not the greatest in these episodes when it comes to the Dorif and Tilly voicing.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
It looks like bad lip syncing. Like it looks like it's just like a hair off, or like they are over accentuating their mouth, and it doesn't line up very well.
I wish they had just like had. I don't know. I think that's like the one stylistic choice where I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. Like that's weird. Like you're already letting his daughter play him as like a hot young dude. Like let's just let her have. Like she can kind of get the voice and the laugh. Like fuck it. Also love when Chucky as Nika and Chucky the doll are talking about how he gets so much pussy when he's a woman. And Dick. I was like, good for Chucky. Canonically bisexual?
At least one side of him.
At least one little fragmented being of his is that. I don't fucking know. Yeah, Fine. It's not worth it. There's no explanation. I have to just give into it. There's not. I'm like, how did that happen? Nope.
What I do love, though, is the way it ends with Chucky as if he's, like, reading classic literature to us, and he, like, compares Mancini to Shakespeare, which I was just like, okay, that's funny.
It's just so
And then
good.
it goes through all the kills, 21 deaths this season, and to quote Chucky, and a whole bunch of dead parents.
I love it.
Seriously, there is literally one main character parent alive. We have the entire poor Jake's family, his entire family, his extended family.
Oh God.
Dead, gone. He's it. Devin, mom, dad, orphaned. Lexi loses her boyfriend / loses one half of her parents. Very vicious. This series was very vicious, at least this first season.
Seriously. Again, like, it's like, well, so what next? And I'm excited because I know that there's a lot of stuff with, like, boarding school and Jesus and stuff. So I'm excited to see how they handle that. I've heard, again, really good things about it, so.
I've only seen the first, I think, 2, maybe 3 episodes of season 2. So, like, I haven't... We're going to get into things that I don't know. So I'm excited for that.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for it too, because I also the first episode of the second season and was like,
I can't imagine, because the second episode like kind of picks up in some ways right where this one leaves off with.
It does. It all kind of started making sense. I was like, oh,
it's a lot.
And I didn't watch any other episodes. I was like, I'm lost. This is not a show I can do this with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so goddamn good. I'm excited to jump into season 2, and did they announce the season 3, right?
They've announced season 3. So hell yeah. But yeah, so I'm really excited. Next week we're going to start season 2. Unfortunately, this one is not streaming free anywhere yet.
Well, I'll find it. Damn it. God damn it, it was so easy on Peacock.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it is. Like when I look it up, it's because I on the iPhone, the nice thing about Apple TV is that it pops up with like where things are available, and it says it's available on like the Bravo TV app, but I don't know if you need to have like a cable subscription for it. I don't know, but
I always find some way to watch these things. But yeah, and so that's
what we're talking about next week. But who are we talking to on Monday, Mary Beth?
All right, so like this was the coolest shit of all time. Because I have loved this director since I was a fucking weird ass high school student. We are talking to Ryuhei Kitamura, who is the director of The Midnight Meat Train, Versus, and the newly released The Price We Pay. And he brought with him the classic film Phantasm, which is now one of my favorite movies after watching it for a second time and chatting with him.
First time watch for me.
Oh, fucking incredible discussion. He's so cool. I share with him my obsession of Midnight Meat Train, and it's really awesome. It's like a cool kind of full circle moment for young horror fan Mary Beth to now, so I'm really stoked for everyone to hear that episode.
Yeah. What a nice dude. He's so cool, so chill.
His stories are cool too.
He loves to tell stories. He has a very funny story about the first time he came to America and buying a car.
It's really funny. So yeah, he was just really generous with sharing about his experiences. So yeah. Well, listeners, you've heard from us. We want to hear from you. Is there a Sundance film that we talked about that you're especially excited for? What did you think about Chucky Season 1? You can let us know by sending us an email at scarredforlifepodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us directly on Twitter. I am at MB McAndrews.
And I'm at Gaily Dreadful.
And of course, don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter at Scarred Podcast.
And please don't forget to review, rate, subscribe. Join us on Patreon. You could be watching us live do this, as Purpurina and Kate are doing right now. And then, like we said, Fresh Wounds next week. Lake Mungo. Very cool. So join us. Support us, please.
Support us, bitch. Thank you to Eric Power for artwork. Thank you to Sean Keller for music. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please stay safe out there, but most importantly, stay creepy.
And until next time.
Bitch.